Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I have a really special chart to share with you guys that is going to be mapping out the big picture cyclical analysis inside of Bitcoin and the total market cap as a whole. This is a really important chart because it's going to perfectly explain just how identical the current time frames are compared to what we saw in 2017 and how we can actually go about making a ton of profit trading this same fractal because it's going to be taking us towards this end of the year cycle top. While a lot of people are calling for some type of cycle top midway 2022, a lot of people are going to get stuck holding in the bear market because the end of the year is ripe for profit taking. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys sign up and join the Discord server of over 21,000 members and growing. Links are provided for you in the description for the people that want to join my community and sign up. On top of that, if you're new and you want extra educational content, you can also download my free ebook. Links are going to be provided for you in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. One quick final update before we jump into today's video is you guys can also go ahead and join my Discord server. We're going to be doing a Black Friday discount. So if you guys do want to actually get access to my private group, get access to my course and my beginner course, all three bundled are going to be provided for you inside of that discount. So check it out. Links are going to be provided for you in the description. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so for today's video, I've already gone ahead and drawn some cycle analysis. I wanted to give you guys this update as a way to kind of share with you time frames, why they're important, and then analyzing what I used to call the 4-year bull. I used to call this way back in the last year, 2020, right before we had this massive run up, and I actually forgot about it, and I haven't talked about it for a long time. And so for today's video, I wanted to give you guys an update on this, kind of summarize how it's played out from my last update, with this being, you know, all the way back in 2020 was the last time I ever talked about this pattern. And we're going to be comparing it to what we're seeing today with Bitcoin. Now, this was the last cycle for crypto. This was when Bitcoin rallied up to $1,150, and then we had that bear market back down to about $160. And so the way that I've gone ahead and drawn this is I've analyzed the cycle top with the black line. That's why it says cycle top here, and then the cycle bottom. Both of these have a black line. They're not going to be perfectly on the dot of the new year, which is why I've gone and put the new years on this one and this one. So these two are just merely analyzing the cycle top and the cycle bottom, and then these ones are the beginning of the new year. And so this is something I wanted to share with you guys because it follows really just how closely the new years are for pivot points being cycle highs and cycle lows inside of Bitcoin. And we can see that here. We ended up topping about the very end of November back in 2013. And so it was right there close to the new year, but just about a month before that point. And so we see that cycle top occur here. And then it was almost exactly 1 year in duration that the bear market lasted. We could see that the bear market had its final low set in at about January 13th. And so right there close to the new year is where we get that cycle bottom. A little bit after, and this one was just a little bit before, but it follows pretty close to those. And so that's why I have start of year 1, start of year 2. Now, from year 2 to year 3, this is where we go through accumulation and we start making higher highs. Now, from year 2 to year 3 is generally going to be the accumulation range. At the end of year 3 is where you do get that all-time high breakout. We flip the all-time highs, and then we go into price discovery, and that's actually into year 4. And so what I've gone ahead and done is actually drawn this exact same formula over the current day chart of the total market cap, because I wanted to give you guys this same update because it's amazing how when you really take the time to just ignore the price action and look at the time frames themselves, they're actually so identical to the last cycle, and that's why I'm still sticking towards these end-of-the-year time frames. It's very interesting to me how so many analysts are actually calling for lengthening cycles, how so many people are kind of kicking the rock down the road, and I knew that that was going to happen, and I actually told you guys that that was going to happen back in 2020. I said what always happens in the cycles is at the end of the cycle, right before the blow-off top, everybody starts assuming that it's going to last way longer than it does, and then they get more invested, they get fully leveraged in. And they do that at the top of the cycle. And then that's right before everything comes crashing down. And I've tried to keep you guys aware of that. Most people, a lot of people, last year called for the end of the year. A lot of people were following my analysis, and I've had so many people doubting it, messaging me saying that they actually believe that it's going to go longer. Not that that's a problem and everybody's open to their own analysis. I just think that it's important to watch the time frames because they're not any different than what we've seen in prior cycles. And if we look at the current cycle, this is going to tell the story. So in the same way that we did with the last one, where we analyze the cycle top and the cycle bottom of Bitcoin, we're going to do that once again. So we get our cycle top here January the 1st, right at the new year for the altcoins and the total market cap. And then we go for about 1 year of a bear trend. In fact, it was just a little over 11 months. And we can see that right here. We get the cycle low at the 10th of December. So almost exactly 1 year. This one follows even closer than the first Bitcoin cycle I just shared with you guys does. So that's start of year 1. And then we go into the start of year 2. Remember guys, year 2 through year 3 is known as the accumulation range. In Bitcoin cycle, it looks slightly different. We went sideways in this little range for about 180 days before a breakout. And then we went here for another year, just steady uptrending, higher highs and higher lows before we flipped those all-time highs and went parabolic. It's very similar to what we saw here. The accumulation range didn't last nearly as long. We made a higher high than we saw inside of this range. Bitcoin went sideways. The total market cap ended up going quite a bit higher inside of that move, but then same way on the downside, we also went really low on that same downside. We basically fully retraced this move if you count the wicks. And so it was a very volatile time. It was just a bigger consolidation, but even the consolidation looks the same. This itself is the same fractal. We can see this run up here, bottom, run up again, and then this quick panic looks exactly the same as COVID right here. We have the bottom, run up, back down, run up again, and then this little crash here is roughly the same thing as what we saw here in the early day of Bitcoin. And then that's what starts our uptrend, and that's what we see here. It happened a lot quicker in the total market cap today, but it still follows the same time frames. Look through this, guys. Let's ignore 1 through 3, and then let's go to the beginning of year 4. Notice that right at the beginning and the end of year 3 and the beginning of year 4, we get this breakout of the all-time highs and then the sell-off that retests the all-time highs. Watch what happened here inside of Bitcoin in the last cycle. At the end of year 3 to the beginning of year 4, we break past the all-time highs and then we flip those all-time highs as support. And if I could draw a line straight across, this would be a support and resistance flip above the all-time high. And then what happens immediately after? Price discovery. What happens immediately after? Price discovery. So what you guys are noticing here is really that these two cycles are almost no different at all. And when we're looking at the time frames, when we're analyzing year 1 through 3 of this 4-year cycle, we can see that it's followed almost identically. The accumulation looks a little bit different, but overall it's following the same time frames. And that's why I tell you guys, it's a great opportunity to ignore price action sometimes and just stick to the time frames, because the price action is always going to look a little bit different. It's always going to chop you up. That's kind of what it's there to do. And so the big thing is what we've seen up to this point is no different than the last cycle, following the exact same time frames all the way through. Literally no different here. It's the exact same cycle. And so if it's followed this identical up to this point, why are we all of a sudden now changing our trading plans and saying, oh, it's going further down. It's going to go into mid-2022. It's going to go even longer than that, or, quarter 1 of 2022. I still think that that's a possibility, but mid-2022, extended past that, no. Super cycle, no. It's just another market cycle that will have a big crash. And so let's take a look at what happened shortly after the end of year 3 and the beginning of year 4. So remember, this was the all-time high breakout, the retest, and then this is what happened shortly after in the total market cap. From the beginning of year 4 until the end of year 4, the beginning of 2018, that's the type of run-up that we saw into price discovery. And if you guys notice here, this is roughly the same sort of thing that we're seeing in today's cycle. There's really not a whole lot of difference today. The only real major difference is in that 2017 cycle, it went a lot higher inside of this initial move here, but it was also at a time where the total market cap was so tiny. So it makes sense why the price chart itself would go up a little bit higher. But I mean, what we're seeing inside of this cycle is not much different. It looks roughly the same, where we get this big run up at the beginning of year 4. We get the run up into new all-time highs, and then we get this pullback, right? This to me looks roughly the same as what we saw in that last cycle. We go into price discovery, and then we get that pullback. The only difference is this one kind of makes 2 higher highs, and then we get the blow off top. Where in the current cycle that we're in, we're not getting that same structure. We got one big move and then one big correction, and now we're about to get the blow off top. So it's roughly the same exact sort of stuff, guys. And if you notice, the end of year 4 is going to be the beginning of 2022. And that's why I've always said the end of this cycle will take place at the end of this year. And I've gone ahead and I've given you guys the analysis in the last video explaining that it could very easily go into January, mainly because we already saw it go into January in the last cycle. Some altcoins topped at January 4th to January 7th. So we've already seen that happen. If it goes into mid-January, that's nothing out of the realm of possibilities. The big thing that we use timeframes for is having a map and understanding the zone in which we want to take profits. We know that based off of history, it really repeats itself often with these crypto cycles. It really does. It's not always going to be exact, but I just shared with you guys a pretty identical example of just how identical these timeframes are. We look through here. This is 3 years worth of a market cycle from the top of the cycle to the breakout of that previous all-time high and beginning into new price discovery. This is 3 years and what it takes inside of that process. This is the total market cap today, and it's done the exact same thing. Through 3 years from the cycle top all the way to the end of the year 3 and the breakout of that previous cycle top, the beginning of price discovery, it's the same exact chart all the way through. When we look at this, and we actually analyze year 4, the current year that we're in, we're almost at the very end of the 4-year cycle, guys. We've seen roughly the same sort of symmetry between each. In the 2017 cycle, at the beginning of year 4, we had our first run up into price discovery, and that's where we got this correction. That's what preceded the blow off top that took us, this type of a move on the upside. This is roughly the same thing that we're seeing today. We've already had the correction, and we're at the very early stages of that blow off top. There's not a whole lot of difference here. And so the main point of today's video was to kind of simplify and give you guys even more detail on my trading plan. A lot of people I can see them making the mistake that I knew and told myself people were going to make. I told myself inside of the first sell-off that we get after all-time highs, I knew that it would come at some point. I mean, it's inevitable that we have these corrections. We saw the same thing in 2017. In that summer sell-off, a lot of altcoins, evaporated, had massive sell-offs. And I knew that during that period, there was going to be a lot of people that were going to be calling for the cycle top. That's exactly what we saw here. Everybody was calling for a new bear market. A lot of analysts, a lot of influencers were explaining that we were in a new bear market. And then obviously we bottomed and we started going back up again. And so now we're at the point of the cycle where I always said at the end of the cycle, people were going to assume that it's going to last a lot longer than it actually is. People are going to hold a lot longer, and they're going to get greedy and not take their profits. And so we're at this point of the cycle where that's going to be the next step. We've already had everybody faked out thinking the bear market was beginning. Now we go for the blow off top where nobody wants to actually sell their crypto. And so I want you guys to keep updated with this. I want you guys to remember that there's a good opportunity, but you want to make sure that you're taking profits, and you want to make sure that you're not just holding blindly into forever, because that eventually is going to come crashing down, and we're going to be looking at a retrace below the current price that we're at right now. I think that that's likely scenario from here. And so you guys don't want to have to hold through all of that. It's going to be brutal. It's not going to be fun. And you're going to lose a lot of money. So if you guys found value in this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for that. I wanted to also give you guys the current update that we're actually doing a Black Friday discount. If you guys want to get into my video course, my signals, and my beginner course, I'm going to be doing the bundle once more. This is going to be a bundle deal between all of my different packages, between the signals, follow all my trades, between my video course, which is a 20-part series to teach you guys how to trade, as well as my beginners course, which is really just the beginning steps, how to use DEXs, set up MetaMask wallets, ledgers, things like that. So if you guys do want to get access to all of that stuff, it's going to be at a massive discount. You guys can get that all the way up until Monday. So if you guys do want it, links are going to be provided for you in the description. Thank you all so much for watching this video. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.